Hello and welcome to the Deep 3 podcast. This is your host, Matt, joined as always by Sam and John. How's it going, boys?
Oh, this is new. I haven't seen you guys in a minute. John's in a new area. Matt's wearing a tank. I don't know, just new people. Matt, you gotta flex the tattoo for everyone. I don't even know what it is. What is it? What
I gotta flex my tattoos.
Yes, sir. You know, you're a new man.
Yeah, you know it, and you know
are no
what
longer
that means.
Matt.
If I have tattoos, it means I'm fucking cool. I'm in a biker gang, man.
Anime.
So rad.
Your sharding gun right here. Right? That's all you need.
Yo, that'd be lit. Let's go. It has been a while. I am very glad to be back. There was a period of this time where I had to go into housing duties because my wife and I just got a new house. So we've been busy, least to say. There was also a point in time where I met some Utah Jazz fans, and well, let's just say somehow I'm here and they're not. I had to stick it up for my boy Sam after he was kidnapped last time. It's finally here, dude. We're now finally getting into the NBA Finals. A wild ride, to say the least. Why don't we start from the top? The Hawks, part of that wild ride. I don't think anybody expected them except for John, or because John's the only one on this podcast that had them winning out of the first rounds.
But hold on. He just didn't want the Knicks in there. All right? That's why he had no hope with the Knicks. That was the only reason.
Yeah. There it is. But nonetheless, fucking hell of a run. Sam, why don't you give us the biggest highlight that you saw from this Hawks team, or should I say this Trae Young team? Yeah.
I think that's enough highlights. Oh wait, and that's all you need. We just created one of the best villains in the NBA now, just because. Yeah. I mean, like it's a guy that I think he's a good 50-50 of the NBA. Where I think we have a newfound respect for Trae Young. I know it's not entirely him, but I mean, I think that the way he composed himself is just like, I don't think anyone expected this. I think we thought of him as more of the immature play style, would come in and that would just be a 4-0 sweep any series you played in. Proved us wrong. He beat the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, and that's a team that we thought was going to be, that was a 1 seed. So I mean, we thought they were going to go pretty far. And Ben Simmons is a whole different story at this point. But with Trae Young, I know a lot of the comps is like it's a Reggie Miller where you just hate him because he just is good. He shows up at the right moment, knows how to sign a crowd, and you know, there's nothing more you can really say. I mean, I think the only downfall of the series was just Bogdanovich couldn't get into the groove with his injury and everything, and then Trae got injured. And I think it would have gone to Game 7 if Trae was healthy. I think it really could.
Yeah, it's very possible, especially because Giannis got injured too. So that could have been very likely. John, do you see this happening again next year, possibly, or was this kind of just like a fluke?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to call it a fluke because I think I was pretty pleasantly surprised by what the Hawks did. It felt like it just kind of felt like actually as a team they were just like really, really strong across the board, and they weren't even fully healthy. Like I don't know if DeAndre Hunter even played in the playoffs, but when he was healthy at the beginning of the season, he was like almost their best player. Like he was like actually really very good. And so in some ways, like I think they're still going to be really good next year now. Like especially when everyone's healthy, they've had another year playing together. Cam Reddish might take a leap. He had a really good last game for them. So they have potential, but I think this was kind of like their year to do this, because like next year you're going to have like completely healthy Brooklyn. It'll be the Bucks will still be around. Like I don't even consider the 76ers anymore. They're trash until like proven otherwise. Not even worth considering right now. So I have some doubts about them being able to make it this far again. I don't see them as a finals contender, but again, they like just proved me wrong for like 2 out of 3 rounds, basically almost in the playoffs. I thought they were going to get stomped by Philly. I didn't think that the Brooklyn series or the Bucks series would be as close and difficult for the Bucks as it was going into it. So, I guess I don't have the best read on the Hawks, but I don't think this is gonna. I think this was kind of like their ceiling, at least for the next year or two. Like,
yeah, we'll definitely have to see whether or not they have some new talent on the team for next year. But Sam, Nate McMillan is officially the long-term head coach. How are we feeling?
I mean, I think we just saw by the results that this guy can coach. I mean, I think the Pacers made like a big mistake letting him go. I know they were always a 6 seed, but I mean, I think it's just the curse of being the Pacers that you'll always be a middle seed and you won't get past the first round. So you kind of accept that fate. Maybe Rick Carlisle can change that up when he's there, but I mean, I like Nate McMillan. I mean, I liked him when he was coaching Portland back in the day. That's when Zach Randolph balling out in Portland. So I mean, this is like 6-year-old me understanding this. So I'm a big fan. I mean, like I said, it's clear that everyone enjoys Nate McMillan, and I think the culture there. I think the whole concept of culture is kind of bullshit, in my opinion, but it's a different topic at this point. But I think they have the right mix of people. I actually do think the Lou Will edition, even though he didn't play, is a good mix. I think just having like a real vet who's been through it, who's always part of that grind, who almost retired just because he got traded to Atlanta, but then he had his moment. He started in the playoffs. Who would have thought that would happen? That Lou Williams would be starting in the playoffs. I did hear that Lou Will's never been paid more than $10 million a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy nowadays. Lou Will, like 5 years later, would be making huge bags right now, like nuts. But I mean, I think Atlanta's got a great future moving forward. I mean, they have a lot of young talent, and I think, like I said, right mix of vets, and I think they just need more experience and time together. I mean, imagine Bogdanovich. When Trae Young's gone, Bogdanovich balls out. We saw in that game when Trae Young was gone that Bogey was killing it. So I'm really excited for this Atlanta Hawks team.
Yeah, 100%. In other news, the Clippers, they were pretty good. I wouldn't exactly say respectable, just because Pat Beverly's a fucking bitch. But you know what? The Clippers were pretty fucking solid this series. John, do you think Kawhi is going to be staying in LA?
Yeah, I wish, obviously I would love for him to go to like Dallas, of course. That'd be, it's something to keep Luka around, or maybe Luka can force his way out and they have no choice but to trade Paul George for Luka, and we can get Luka in LA. That'd be fun. Like, regardless, I think Kawhi is staying. He loves being able to live in San Diego, so I think that's actually important to him. Who knows? And they were like it. I think it's pretty easy to think that if Kawhi was healthy, and if like the Clippers as a whole were healthier, that they could have, in theory, like beaten this Suns team with how good Paul George was, how good Reggie Jackson was.
Yeah.
Someone that they'll probably have to replace actually next year, because Reggie Jackson's probably going to get a bag because of this playoff run. So yeah, I think Kawhi will stay. And I think proved a lot about the Clippers as a team. The bubble was really ugly, and this showed like a lot of grit, and they were really good at times. And I think he's sticking around.
Yeah, for once we can actually confidently say playoff P was actually very solid.
He was really good.
Small
He
P.
was killing it.
Lowercase P. No capital P on this. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm removing myself from the Paul George hate industrial complex. I will no longer be complicit in hating Paul George after what he did in this playoff run. I think he's great, but I'll let Kevin keep getting jokes off.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where we'll just continue to let Kevin shit on him as much as possible. But no, dude, Paul George, he killed it. He was doing very well this playoff series. So good on him. Sam, are we thinking some Lakers Clippers in the playoffs next year? Do you think that's a possibility?
I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think the more we manifest this, the less it's going to happen. Well, this has been going from like 2-3 years now. Like, yo, Battle of LA, never meet up. Someone gets injured, and it's just boring at this point. You know what? I think I'm going to jump off this. Like, I don't think it's that interesting anymore. Just knowing these two dynamics, it's just not that fun to watch. Like, I didn't think the Battle of LA would be that fun. I gotta call out Steve Ballmer with his like little like thigh grabs. I was a little concerned, and he just kept searching for them too. He was just like looking like, yeah,
it's like a pat.
You know, like that's why I don't want Lakers Clippers. You know, I'm concerned with what Ballmer's going to be doing with the crowd, with the players. You never know what's going to happen.
A little weird.
It's pretty weird. You know, Lakers, I don't know if they can make it much further, you know, knowing Caruso got arrested. I'm not sure if that changes that dynamic. You know, the Gons is still not welcome down in College Station. But I don't know. These teams are just so, like, drastically, like, the dynamics are so different on both of the teams. They're similar, where they just have 2 star talents, and then the rest is really not that great. Like, I'd say the Clippers have a better advantage in this case. I think Kuzma is the most horrendous player I think we ever seen in Lakers history. I'm off the wagon. I'm off. It's too. I don't know. It's no good. I think Terrence Mann, if he's actually played accordingly, can play well. Luke Kennard got a bag and he's not even playing. So I mean, props to him at this point. I mean, he's gonna be gone like ASAP. This doesn't match the whole Clipper vibe. You know, when they're wearing the like really like gangs like handwriting of like LA Clippers. You can't see Luke Kennard writing with that. You know, that doesn't match him. You know, he's not gang culture. I'm just being honest.
We do it for his own safety at this point.
Look, man went to Duke. Okay, man went to Duke. You can't be gang culture.
Yeah.
The only person I would say you would have to resign, but they won't, is Reggie Jackson, because I think he actually can prove something. Hopefully not just a one-time stint, but I think he's in a place he wants to be in. He knows he can win in this kind of culture. People you don't bring back, Rajon Rondo, absolutely useless.
Is he gonna retire yet? Like,
man doesn't age, but the headband gets bigger, so I don't know. Marcus or Markieff Morris, whichever Morris it is, somehow played really well in just this series, but is like otherwise not a good player anymore. Don't really know, but he got a bag too, so they just have no cap space. So I don't know what the Clippers can do. Maybe there's just some finesse with Brad Stevens and the Celtics, and they make some weird move with Jaylen Brown, and we'll send you Rajon Rondo. You know, the ultimate reunion at this point.
Can we not? Please.
You guys need a point guard.
Oh my God! But Jaylen Brown is a point guard. I'm not fucking taking Rondo.
And I mean, the Lakers. We know this is the last few. We know LeBron's retiring after Bronny's in the league, plays a year. And we know he's done, and I think maybe he'll be in mentor role or something like that. Anthony Davis, big concern. I don't really know what it is. I mean, we thought he was going to be MVP this season. I don't even know. I think the health is obviously his health is the real question. And when he came back, did not look good. Like he was bullied by Aiden, and everyone was like, "Yo, this is a bag. This is a bag for Anthony Davis." And I was like, "DeAndre Aiden bullied this man. Stop it." All right. It's not going to happen. Lakers, Clippers is done. Let's not talk about it, all right? We're small market town now, all right?
Yeah, small market,
Pistons,
baby.
Pistons 6.
Get those Pistons. Did you say Pistons in 6?
Hey, Cunningham. I'm telling you. They're going to mess
up.
up.
You want to super funny? Did you ever see, I saw this like little picture floating around, is either on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, and it was most well-known players of each team. The Bulls obviously had Michael Jordan, and it was very funny because the Clippers had Blake Griffin, and the Pistons had Blake Griffin on that list. And I'm like, oh, that's rough. That's really rough.
It's disrespectful, honestly.
Yeah. Disrespectful. It was, oh my God. I mean, like, it was so fucking hilarious because on the Pelicans, they had Zion and not Anthony Davis or anything like that. And I was like, I mean, yeah, Zion's a huge name, but that's kind of rude for Anthony Davis.
Yeah. For both these teams, I think it's going to be the race for Spencer Dinwiddie. I think that's actually going to be it's a real sleeper in all of this. I don't know how the recovery is with ACL. I mean, we've seen periodically. We saw Kevin Durant come back from the worst injuries, so I have now. Lakers did fire their trainer because she was not doing a good job, apparently. I don't know what that really means. They might get Scott Brooks. They're doing all these weird moves because Jason Kidd has a job now, and I don't know why he has a job. So I think Spencer Dinwiddie will be like a key piece for one of these teams. If they mess it up, I don't know what to do from there.
Yeah, I would agree. Spencer Dinwiddie, I'm very excited to see how he does and where he goes this offseason if he doesn't stay with the Nets. Pat Beverly's a bitch. Can we just
I would like to see you say that to Pat Beverly's face.
That's fine. He can probably kick my ass, but I don't care. He's still a bitch. Who the fuck does that?
You know who the whole stereotype of the whole idea behind a black Air Force One, how you're just associated with crime. Well, so you're associated with crime. People are who robs people wears black Air Force Ones, and people say that Pat Bev is a black Air Force One at this point because the way he plays. Just being honest. That's a little gruesome, a little aggressive, He's trying to rob people. He's trying to take people out. Ask Russell Westbrook, right? At this point.
Yeah.
But what's better was that Chris Paul came back. We all know Chris Paul as kind of being ideal, probably the best flopper in the NBA. Great at hooking people and throwing up threes and stuff like that. Man dropped 41. I'm just saying, man dropped 41 just casually on these Clippers in LA, just like I say, in LA. So I think it's a good sign seeing that this young Suns team is able to do something like this in a very hostile territory.
Yeah, I just I don't know. That's just the most disrespectful thing you could do. And I'm sure there's been worse, especially in the 90s. But how the fuck you gonna go and push him to the ground like a fucking child? My lord. Let's go into the finals before I get heated. Bucks versus Suns. This is a hell of a finals. I don't think literally none of us from the beginning of this podcast this season could have even thought of this. I think eventually Sam and I were just yeah, Bucks Suns, cool. Eventually, and when that happened, it was second, third round in the playoffs. But man, the fact that the Nets aren't in there, the fact that the Lakers or anybody like that isn't in this is absolutely insane. We are in small market town now. Mm-hmm. But the real question is, John, is Giannis, do you think is Giannis going to be healthy enough to impact the series?
Man, I don't know. I guess I'm honestly surprised that the injury wasn't worse because it was really disturbing how his knee bent when he landed on that thing. So I don't know. It's still questionable, I think, if he's available for game one at this point. And I'd be surprised if he was. So I don't know. It makes me really sad, but I kind of don't think he will be, at least not in time for them to pull it out. That's my concern. I could be wrong, and I hope I am because I would love to see the Bucks at full strength for this series, but I don't know. It looked pretty bad. I was so surprised that it wasn't worse, and I was very pleasantly surprised. But so I'm rooting for him. I kind of think it's unlikely.
Yeah, I might be on the same page with you on that one. Sam, did this past series with the Hawks and the Bucks kind of change your perspective on Chris Middleton? Because Chris Middleton balled the fuck out. He killed it, especially without Giannis for those last couple games. Chris Middleton killed it, and throughout the entire series, he was very good.
No, I feel like we're seeing already peak Middleton. I saw him from last year too, and I think we are seeing it. He went a little bit higher in my opinion, but it's hard to say, right? Because I don't really want to disrespect the Hawks for what they've done, but it's if you're the Bucks, you should be notably higher in gameplay compared to the Hawks, and it seemed like there was a lack of composure. And I think it actually does come down to how Giannis plays. I think Giannis does create a lot of bad possessions for them. I really do hate the Giannis like fade away from the like side. It's not his thing. And people are like, yo, he needs to start doing that. I'm like, please don't.
No, he's got to stop shooting the ball.
He has a mismatch. He has a mismatch every fucking time. Like just run over people. It's like run over.
I respect Giannis for trying. I respect him for shooting, but like, because Ben Simmons will never do that ever, apparently. But dude, gotta stop.
Yeah, but what I did enjoy from Giannis was point guard Giannis when he does the drive and dish to Chris Middleton. I mean, was it Game 5?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Game 5 where Chris Middleton just popped off like it was like 5 straight, like it was back to back to back to back threes, and I was just like, this is just nuts. Like you don't see this from Middleton, and I mean. I think it was good that they went further out because I think this showed like, hey, how good is this team really? Because we had no idea how it was going to be. It was the revenge of Bogdanovich. He's not going to the Bucks. I remember when I first moved into this apartment, listening to the podcast in the gym and talking about how like the bogey thing was going to cost them everything and how Drew Holiday is not going to have an impact. And we're seeing the opposite. I think we've seen Drew Holiday, who's never been in this position, being very prevalent and very important for scoring ability and just defensive presence. I'm just saying Trae Young had the bag with everyone. You can't really guard him sometimes. You can kind of just run around. He's just too fast. He's small and fast. I mean, you really can't stop it at that point. But Chris Middleton can shoot daggers. I mean, I actually prefer the mid-range game from Chris Middleton. The way he just drives, just pulls up. You really can't guard that. And overall, everyone doing that now is making the NBA more fun. Just three, going mid-range and dropping it. It's just so much more fun. So I'm glad that the series went long because I think it did unlock some more Chris Middleton highlights, and I think some more. We saw something different that we haven't seen from Chris Middleton because Bucks means Giannis. When Giannis is gone, it's like who is it? And I think we saw Middleton actually take on a face. Yeah, who this basically.
It's the guy who was scoring threes all day long, first round of the playoffs for the Bucks. It was your boy who was on the Spurs. That's who.
Jeez, hey, don't bring forward. Don't bring forward.
Yeah, and then John, do you think Chris Paul is going to resign in Phoenix?
If he'll resign there, I think.
Or resign, yeah.
Yeah. If they can afford him, yeah, I actually do. I think that everyone on that team loves Chris Paul. He totally unlocked DeAndre Ayton. Sounds like Devin Booker loves playing for him. We've all seen the videos of like after the game when Chris Paul was out because of COVID and they'd be like FaceTiming him after the game coming through the locker room. I think that he's been like a hand in glove fit in Phoenix, obviously. And so if Phoenix can afford him, because he wants a good contract. I think he's said already. So if they can keep him, I think he stays, and that's great. Hopefully, or maybe if Chris Paul wins a championship this year, he decides he wants to just go full mercenary, run around the league the rest of his career to different teams, see what he could do to help them win a championship. That'd be a cute, fun thing for Chris Paul. But I think most likely he's gonna stay in Phoenix because it seems like they've just had a lot of fun. And I mean, he's been amazing this year. He's been really, really good.
Absolutely. Boys, who do you think wins the finals, and who do you think will be the finals MVP? I'll start with you, Sam.
I think rephrase the question is like, do you think Mike Budenholzer will be fired? I that's really want to say Bucks in 6. Like John pointed out, I think Giannis' health does play a role. He does play very. It's not safe how he plays, right? The way he does his really bad euros and his spin moves, he's gonna be stepping on someone, and I can't really trust his shot at all. Really, I really just can't trust his shot, and it really depends on him driving in the paint. We know he's not healthy there, and I just think we all saw. Sure, the Suns played really handicapped teams, through each round, but I think there was still a strong sense of composure of how they played, and I think it's one of the few teams that actually played as a team, like where everyone was in. All the way down to the 11th person was like important for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going. Are we doing Suns in 4? Is that what we're doing? Are we doing the
Damn, what?
Suns in 4 guy? Let's do it. Suns in 4.
Holy shit! You are on some stuff. Suns in 4.
I wish.
Yeah. John, are you with Sam on this one? Oh wait, before I get to you, John, Finals MVP, Sam.
Oh, I hate CP3, but I think D-Book. I think this is a D-Book moment. You know what? Do we bring out a banger? Do we think DeAndre Ayton averaging a 20 and 10 through the whole series? I think that might be good. I'm going D-Book. I'm getting D-Book. I just want to D-Book, 30 points a game. 30 points a game.
Yeah. John?
I'm going to take the Suns as well. Just because, yep. 5.
Suns at 4. Do it for the man. Do it for
I gotta say
Suns at 5. I saw that guy get beat up. It was awesome.
Yeah, I know. Suns at 4 guy's an icon. He's an icon, but I don't think it's good. I don't think that magic will carry into this one. I think the Bucks can win at least one game, and they'll probably get like one Giannis game at least where like he can be enough of a distraction and let the other guys shine. And so I'm happy for the Suns. I'm happy for Chris Paul. But I just don't think the Bucks are going to be healthy enough to win the series at the end of the day. If I'm proved wrong, that'd be great. I'd be really happy for Giannis too. Both these teams, it's like a rare situation where it's genuinely just like whoever wins this finals is like, it's just great for them. Happy for you. I think I'd rather see the Suns win because I don't think Chris Paul is going to get back to the finals ever again. Suns at 5. I think I'd probably agree that Devin Booker will be the finals MVP. I think like my guess is it'll be like either Devin Booker and then like second most likely is Chris Paul. And then I don't think DeAndre Ayton would be, especially because Giannis might not play all the games. And that's kind of where DeAndre Ayton would be most important, would be on that Giannis assignment. So he'll have his moments, and he's going to be really good. He's been awesome all playoffs. I just think that those other two guards really going to shine.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Suns, but I'm going to actually go with Suns in 6, depending on Giannis. I think if Giannis is on the field, then all bets are off almost. Depending on health, and depending on how much he shoots. The less he shoots, the better for the team overall. But I'll give the Bucks the benefit of the doubt and say that they lose in 6. And I'll have the Finals MVP as Chris Paul. Dude deserves it for sure.
But again, like if Giannis was healthy, I think it's a different story. I think it's like a much closer series. But he's just not. So,
who is most likely to come back next year? Sam.
That's I think I have to go with the Suns just because, like we mentioned before, the Brooklyn Nets will be healthy. Like I think that's a guarantee. They know that they paid too much for this, that they have to make sure this works. They will be there. I mean, and if you just look at the standings, I don't really see much movement overall. I think it's going to be like almost the same. I don't think many teams are going to get better. Like all the teams eliminated will probably be eliminated still. I'm just being honest. Hey, Chicago Bull fan, I'm just saying they're probably going to be out again. But
yeah.
Like it really just depends if Bradley Beal moves from the Wizards or not at this point. But I mean, I'm pretty sure that Miami Heat are already in the gym. They're already getting their 8-packs going in at this point. So they'll probably be. They might even get above the Bucks at this point. Philly, I don't know what Philly has to do at this point, but like I said, I think the real thing is the Western Conference was actually really a toss-up. We thought it was going to be the Lakers, but it really became a real toss-up. It could have been the Jazz, it could have been the Suns, Clippers. I mean, getting up to the Clippers. I mean, we even said Dallas at some points. Like we were just like, we really have no idea who's going to win this. Eastern Conference, it probably has the most stacked like top 4 teams, and then it kind of like deteriorates. But I mean, just knowing Brooklyn getting healthy, and just imagine if James Harden was healthy and actually being confident with his shots, or just even Kyrie. I mean, Kyrie Irving got a bad injury, and that's really what came down to not making it. So I think the Bucks are probably not going to return. This is it.
Interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that saw this random tweet or picture or whatever, but it was a picture of Bam Adebayo and Jason Tatum working out together, and it was just like hint, hint, nudge, nudge, like maybe that'll never happen. It'll never.
Yeah,
happen.
Jason Tatum would be a great Miami Heat.
No.
Everyone would be great.
Let's stop that. Let's stop that right now.
Carry on his legacy. Move it on over. They need another phone.
We're good. We don't need it. John, who do you think is coming back next year?
Not Jason Tatum.
Shut up.
It's tough. I feel like maybe I'm being disrespectful, but I don't think the Suns are likely to come. Honestly, I think the real answer is that neither of these teams are going to be back in the finals. That's like my actual true answer. And also because the West is just going to be so interesting next year. I'm very curious to see what the Warriors do this offseason. I'm curious to see how good Klay Thompson is when he comes back, because Klay Thompson is good when he's back. That makes the Warriors basically contenders again. That they have the core. So, and then they have James Wiseman and those 2 draft picks as trade bait and Andrew Wiggins' contract. So they can make something happen. Warriors are definitely interesting. Lakers will be healthy next year. Clippers will be healthy next year, assuming Kawhi stays. Nuggets, the West is stacked. I just think that there's teams that I have more faith in there. I think that the East, I don't believe in Philly anymore until I see what they do in the offseason. I'm done. I don't care. Until they have a good point guard that can shoot and distribute, I'm done with them. The Nets will probably be in the finals. But then after that, I'm it's pretty much the Bucks. So, I don't think the Celtics will be incredible next year. I don't think that the Heat will be incredible next year unless someone decides that they want to live in Miami. So I think that the Bucks to me are more likely, but I don't know. It feels rude because they're both. I feels rude to even ask because they're both in the finals right now. Give them their credit, but I don't know. It was obviously a weird postseason. Injuries played a part in every single series. They playing a part in the finals too. So it's just I don't know. This is surprising, and part of why it's surprising that they're in the finals is because there were so many good teams that just guys got hurt. But they're great. Good respect to them, whatever. But I don't know that I would anticipate either of these teams being in the finals next year.
Totally. Really quickly, we'll just go around the pod. Newspaper headline for this series, Sam.
Oh shoot, I had my one, but I have to go. The sun will rise in the west. We're going to take from Shaq. We'll take from Shaq from here.
I like it. John.
I don't know, probably Greek freak out, because he's gonna be out, and also the Bucks are gonna be freaking out.
Yeah.
More like suns out, guns out.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Yeah. All the crime that happens in Phoenix. Oh, okay, that's a dark twist.
Oh my God, I think it's gonna be Giannis leads the Suns to an NBA Finals championship.
That was too literal.
Oh yeah. It's got to be too literal for me. Yeah, I'm not very good with these one-liners, man. It's not my style.
Charles Barkley.
John,
Yeah.
your boy Luka leads Slovenia to the Olympics.
What do we think?
Ever.
Yeah, great. Very proud of him, of course. What do we think of the Slovenia jerseys? I like them. Have we seen them?
I haven't seen them.
I think they're pretty clean. I like the blue. But, yeah, that's super cool for him. Again, first time Slovenia has ever qualified for the Olympics. Helps to have a top 10 player in the NBA on your team. Triple-doubled in their last win to qualify. And clearly this, really meant a lot to him. He said so himself afterwards, that if he could win a gold medal for Slovenia, that would be even bigger to him than an NBA championship. But I know how it sounds, and I can hear Skip Bayless crawling out of his little cave to jump on this. But it's just a guy who's really proud of where he's from. it means a lot that his country is successful and that he can like be the first to lead them there. So I do get it from that perspective. And honestly, frankly, like it would probably be harder for Luka. I would say it's less likely that Slovenia wins a gold medal than Luka wins an NBA championship. So
That's
so I kind of get it. But it's super cool, man. Luka's, that's sick. That's got to be cool. I'm interested to see how far he can take him.
Yeah. I would agree. I think if I was a USA player, then I would obviously be like, I'd rather have if you're the 12th man on the roster, you're gonna get the gold. I mean,
yep, yeah.
Like, you're gonna get the goals. I get that completely. Yeah. If you're a foreigner and you play for your team, you make it. I'm more impressed. Argentina winning it and destroying the USA team. That was awesome. That was great. My boy Manu. It's all good.
Yeah. Team Canada doesn't even qualify for the Olympics. Not entirely sure how that happened, to be honest. But
you're the favorite. You're the favorite of all this.
What?
You're the favorite to be like the top contender for this.
They had Nick Nurse as their coach, Andrew Wiggins, RJ Barrett. They had like a handful of NBA guys.
How the fuck do they not qualify? That's insane to me. It's kind of wild.
Tomas Satoransky, baby. That guy.
Dude, when you have Sato on your team, I mean, you're going places. So what the fuck is going on? Other news, there's some problems in Portland, other than summer fires. Dame is not having a good time currently. Do you think that he's going to be asking out with this new Billups hiring for head coach, Sam?
I know there's a lot of, allegations and, there were things said outside, similar to what Jason Kidd had. No one really talks about that, but it's a different story. But, I mean, I feel like Dame's not at the brink of... I know he's getting a lot of backlash just because it's obviously not to what he wanted necessarily, but I don't think he has disrespect for Billups. I think everyone has a lot of respect for what Billups has done for the game and stuff like that. But I think the number one goal is if this is your guy, then you got to make sure your guy's happy and he needs to be involved in discussions. Clearly, it doesn't seem like he was involved in discussions. I don't know if are we allowed to say that Dame has LeBron caliber at this point? I mean, I don't know. But I don't really see Dame leaving. I don't think Dame's going to leave. I think they need to see one more piece. If there's one piece that doesn't happen this offseason, then I think next season he will not be with Portland. But I think he's going to run one more season back with them to see how this all pans out.
Yeah, that's fair. John, if Dame does leave Portland, where would you want to see him go? I know there's already been talks. There's already been talks of him going to the Lakers, just because there are pictures of him and LeBron together. That would be fucked up if Dame went to the Lakers. I would be so mad. But John, where would you want to see him?
I mean, Dame's an Oakland boy. Bring him to Golden State if you're going to put him in California. Get Steph and Dave backcourt. It'd be disgusting. How do you guard that? No, obviously I want him in Chicago.
Yeah.
He would be, I think, he would be the greatest point guard in Bulls history. He would be like, I think that's hard up. So yeah, get him to Chicago. He would solve that problem. Him and Zach LaVine would be the most unguardable backcourt in basketball. Well, like it'd be like Harden and Kyrie, and then like LaVine and Dame, and like that would be a very fun time for me personally.
Yeah.
But there's other places he's much more likely to end up. But I think at the end of the day, Sam, I think you're right. This next year, I think is like, this is your last chance, guys. Like, if I don't feel like we're heading in the right direction after this year, I think he's going to be gone, because, and unless maybe I'm really underestimating how much it means to him to win in Portland, it's just like at some point you got to realize like it's not happening, and you just need to make a choice that you're like, do you want to win a championship or like. Nah. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. Dame would be a wonderful number 2 to Patrick Williams. Be a great
he'd be a great second option for Pat. It'd be really good. He can space the floor a bit for Pat, be kind of a distraction for the defense while Pat does his thing. Carves him up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, let's be honest. If you had to choose between Pat and Pat Williams and Dame, I'd much rather guard Pat Williams because he's going to be the one to score the most. Honestly, gotta stop that aggressive offense. Anyway, why don't we get right into this USA basketball? They announced their roster, and so far, looks a lot better than the last one. I'm glad that KD's going to be there. I'm glad that Dame's going to be there. Tatum, that's great. Booker, great. Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine, Bam, Middleton. The rest, I mean,
I saw you skip a particular name in the middle.
I skipped two names, actually. I skipped Kevin Love and Draymond Green.
Well, I think we all know one belongs there way more than the other.
Right, Kevin Love.
Oh, God.
John, you want to give us your 2 cents on this list? I think, in retrospect, I don't think it's the worst, just because you have Kevin Durant in there and whatnot. And I mean, I don't even remember the last roster, to be honest. I just remember that it was terrible.
I think the last team won gold. Let's see.
Did Argentina beat them?
No, you're to the other tournament that they did, which was a bunch of young guys that were on the.
Oh.
Tatum was the best player on the team. So that you're referring to a different team, but yes.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yes, yeah. They last year, last time around, pretty sure they won gold. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a good team. I don't know what to say. I don't know how bad it could. Obviously the bigs leave maybe a little bit to be desired. I'm sure that Bam will be, unless they're going really small, which they certainly could. I could see a lineup that's like Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, something like maybe you put. Let's say Chris Middleton out there so someone could play defense, and then Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant. And I could see them doing that just because, I don't think there's another team in the world that could, guard a lineup like that. But, Bam's probably starting at center. Draymond's probably going to play, 5 minutes a game or something, unless they really need him defensively. Or as a distributor, because Draymond actually might be the best distributor on this team. Offensive initiator on this team. I mean, look, they're going to score. I don't know how anyone's going to stop them from scoring. It doesn't make, you have some of the best scorers in the entire world on this team. Looks okay to me. Funny that you get, the strays of, Kevin Love does not belong on this team. I can't believe that they couldn't get someone better than Kevin Love. It's such a low bar to clear at this point.
Was Trae Young ever did they just cut him from the roster? How's Trae Young not on the roster?
I think it's probably because there's 100 guards.
Yeah. When it comes to Olympic ball, you just need to shoot threes and you're good. Carmelo, just bring Carmelo back, right? Carmelo Gold.
Oh yeah, Olympic Melo is really he was great. But yeah, I don't know. I think my guess is that this team is probably going to win a gold medal.
Yeah.
So, unless they really don't fucking like each other for some reason.
I do like that Jeremy Grant. I'm just saying, I think there's a lot better player than Kevin. Kevin Love literally quit on his team. Kevin, that's the opposite of U.S. basketball, where you don't quit on your team. And then Kevin Love literally quit on his team and then was trying to backtrack it. I'm sorry, Kevin Love, but cross the line there.
I don't get why Kevin Love is there. It makes zero sense to me. There's got to be someone better. I just
honestly, there. You could have Vucevic in there, and that would be
not on this team. He's not He's not for the U.S.
Oh, that's right. My God.
But no, but there's guys you could put on here. I think that at the end of the day, maybe he has a good relationship with some of the guys on this team or the coaching staff, and they just wanted him in as like, I don't know, maybe
Jared
all these
Allen.
guys like Kevin Love, but
Jared
he's
Allen
not.
would be better.
Yeah, Jared Allen, sure.
Fine. That'd be fun.
What literally like you could name almost any starting center in the NBA.
Andre Drummond, like we don't like him, but he could probably make it.
Yeah, he
Andre
probably
Drummond,
do.
yeah. I mean, like if he's
Double-double.
played basketball this year, like he's. So I don't know. It's a little weird. Yeah, I mean, and then there's also just guys who were probably like, I don't feel like play. I would like a break from basketball after all the basketball I've been playing for the past 2 years. Like. I'm surprised that Kevin Durant is doing it, frankly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think just knowing that LeBron's not going to be there, he's just like, yeah, this is the perfect time. I'm the guy.
It's my time to shine.
Very Kevin Durant thing. Come on now. That's a very Kevin Durant to be like,
turns out in the new Space Jam movie, Kevin Durant's the villain.
Right? This is how it works.
Yeah. No, this list is pretty solid. Yeah, this list is really good. It's actually super funny because earlier in the show I mentioned the most noteworthy players of each team, and they did Bradley Beal dirty and put in Russell Westbrook as more notable for the Washington Wizards than Bradley Beal, and I was like, what is this? What is this bullshit? Are you serious? Yeah, Kevin Love shouldn't be here. Good for Jeremy Grant. I do think he deserves it. He was really, really solid, especially at the start of the season. Like the first half of the season, he was really good. First half of the season, he was very good. And that's saying a lot for, Detroit.
You guys, you're gonna have to probably change your tone with Detroit soon in the next few years. I'm just saying.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna probably want to start changing your tone. They're gonna have Cade Cunningham. They got two rookie team guys on there. Jeremy Grant. I'm saying, like, don't be surprised when in a couple of years the Detroit Pistons are a 6 seed.
A 6 seed. The new finals is going to be Detroit Pistons and Oklahoma going at each other because Oklahoma's draft picks are absolutely insane. Sam, did you have anything you wanted to say about this list?
I think the obvious one is just like Kevin Love. Either everyone said no, like literally everyone said no, or like they just had to put it. Just point out only white guy on there too, so a little suspicious there. But I mean they have sent all black rosters before, so it's nothing like Jalen Rose did cross some line. It was a little too much, but I do agree that it can seem off like that just because how bad Kevin Love was and because he is white that he just made this roster. Just because it's like it's America, we gotta add this guy here. But
true America.
I mean, I really think that everyone said no. Like CJ. I mean, do you need another forward? I just feel like guards would just be better. I think CJ McCollum could have made this roster. Maybe everyone's just tired of basketball. I think everyone's just tired.
I think so. That's what I think.
Jimmy Butler.
Kevin Love's like, I barely played any fucking basketball for 2 years since Kevin Love.
Exactly. So I mean, I'm curious from you guys, who do you think will be the star, or like who's the person's gonna like shine the brightest? Because usually the superstar talents are a little bit more, they kind of coast because they know that this basketball is not that serious. Who do you think will be the kind of like shining factor for this?
I bet I definitely would bet that the most memorable highlight will be Zach LaVine. He will have the most memorable of anyone in this group. He might not be the best. He might not like show up and like be like the leading scorer. He'll probably he won't even be starting most likely. But I think he's going to have the like iconic highlight of this like roster.
Oh,
100%. 7 posters this Olympics.
Yeah.
I am so ready to see all of the dunks from Zach LaVine. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be 6 posters and 1 on Kevin Love. So
yeah,
just for shits and giggles. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. All right. Well, this is the D3 podcast, folks. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. It's been a very long time since John and I have been back on, especially for me, but it has been a wonderful time. Very pumped to see this finals. It's awesome to have small market teams in the finals this year. Hopefully everything works out very well and we get some memorable highlights and whatnot. So thank you guys so much for listening to the show. You can listen to us on Spotify, on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you guys so much and have a good day. Peace.
Support small business basketball teams.